Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the first ever alpha.trader daily BTC update on this Monday, February 23rd of 2026. One of many to come, so really excited and happy to have everyone here. And feel free to point any questions or comments my way, and I'll make sure to answer them. When I see them. So let's jump right in. Let's look at the higher time frames first for BTC, and then go down on the lower time frames to see what's actually happening on the day-to-day. We're looking at BTC here. We are looking at the perpetual contract BTC USDT on Binance. This is the deepest liquidity and tightest spread perps market in the world. So yeah, always use this chart if you're going to be charting for perps on BTC. It's very tight. The price and the chart movement is really tight to hyperliquid, just because they can't be too different, right? Always use this chart. I usually use this chart, especially for indicators. There's a lot of information you don't get from other charts that you will get on this chart. It's a good one to use, and I recommend that you guys use this one if you're going to chart for perps. But yeah, moving on, let's look at BTC on the weekly first. So on the weekly, we still see the clear sell-off that has happened from the all-time highs here. We broke quite clean this uptrend here, and just have been selling off ever since, right? But we have come to a very deep support zone, which is this zone right here, which in my opinion is going to hold for a while. And to be honest, I think that this is most of the sell-off done already, because I actually believe that the bottom would be in at 48K. Why do I say 48K? Because a lot of my research and a lot of data are pointing towards that price. And specifically for this reason right here. 1 second, let me just bring up the rate tool and show you this limit right here. And specifically this sell-off right here in August of 2024. It was clearly a push sweep by the market makers, sweeping down everyone that's been longing into this range almost the entire first 6 months of 2024, before then taking off. And a lot of people that have been longing into this run right here, and longing into the all-time highs, would have had their stop loss at the bottom here, right? So I'm expecting a lot of liquidity to just sit here, and that would need to get swept before we continue the uptrend. Sure, we can go lower. If it gets really bad, we get a third world war, or we get a global economic collapse, then sure, yeah, we could potentially go lower. But we'll just have to see, right, what the price will do and what the market will do once it hits the 48 level here. We can actually look at we can actually go ahead and look at the moving averages here to see where we are, kind of. The price has broken through the 50, has kind of held on the 100 for a while there, and then have just continued to sell off to go towards the 200. The 200 moving average, simple moving average, SMA, is historically a really good point to accumulate long-term Bitcoin. For perps, it's a bit different, obviously, because we usually trade the 4-hour chart or the daily. But you would expect the bottom to form around this region right here, right? So if we actually draw this out a bit more, if we draw the SMA 200 here, probably like this, and then it would continue like this kind of, we do see a similar pattern here, and I think it's going to play out quite similar than in 2022, right? We did get a bounce on the 200, then we just kind of hung around here for a while, and then we just dropped below. That is just another liquidation candle. Everyone thought that the bottom was in here at these levels and started longing, and the liquidation just took everyone out, right? And then we actually bottomed, then we reclaimed, and then we kept going, we kept running. I think something very similar is probably likely to happen here this year and this cycle. Right? We're probably going to be hanging around the 200 for a bit, then break below it, sweep these lows here at 48, 47, then reclaim it, reclaim the support zone, and then just keep on going. I think that is probably the most likely scenario currently. Like I said, we'll have to look at how the price behaves at 48. If it has absolutely no strength and it wants to go lower and no one is buying here, and yeah, the SPY and the stock market are rolling over and it's like the end of the world, then sure, yeah, maybe we do get a wick down to the 30s, right? To just really clear all the liquidity down here before we then go back up and clear this level here as well. But it's just unlikely. I mean, the market has matured. I don't think we will see another 70% sell-off. Like, that just seems unlikely in today's market, right? 30K would be like 74, 77, kind of 75, which would be the same as the last cycles. I think the last cycles were somewhere in these ranges. If we measure it, it was a 77. Yeah, so I mean, you wouldn't expect to see a 77 sell-off now, right? I think it's much more likely that we see this level here at 60 and then go back up. I mean, which other currencies are, you know, selling off 60%? Which other assets in general, doesn't have to be currencies, right? But which other assets are selling off 60%? I mean, that seems yeah, exaggerated. But yeah, again, we won't really know until we see it. We could also just have a complete meltdown of all markets and we go down all the way down to here, which would be like an 87% correction down to 10K. But that would completely change the thesis on the asset and completely change the market. So I don't really think that's in the cards currently. But yeah, we shall see. Anyways, let's move on. Let's go down to a lower time frame to see kind of what we're dealing with. So first of all, let's go down to the 3-day, because I think the 3-day is really nice. It's kind of like a nice balance between lower time frame and higher time frame, and you can really see kind of what's happening and how the market is moving. So first, let's look at the liquidity. So we have our liquidity sweep V6 indicator here. This is a proprietary indicator that we developed in-house. And this actually shows you the liquidity and where it's at, right? And I think this makes a lot of sense. This is kind of what I was saying. Like, there's liquidity here at the sweep of 60K. Then there's liquidity again here and here. And I think all this liquidity needs to get taken out before we continue up. I mean, that just makes the most sense, right? We had a change of character here after sort of like an ABC when we started shorting around 97. And we're now just not seeing any strength here. I mean, it just wouldn't make sense, I think, for market makers to have the market here and not go and get all this liquidity before they keep going up, right? So I'm expecting downside here all the way at least to 48, and then see how the market reacts down there. That would also kind of print a higher low on the RSI, which would ultimately give us a really nice bullish divergence if the price is lower than 60K at this point when the RSI hits lower. So yeah, I'm expecting something like that to play out probably in the next couple of months. Okay, now let's go even lower here and see kind of where we are on a lower time frame. If we go down to the 4 hours, the 4 hours is the time frame that I usually trade. It just makes the most sense because it's reactive enough to be day traded, but it's not too slow, right? And it's yeah, and it's not like the 5-minute chart where you don't get any signal and everything's a fake out. So yeah, 4-hour chart's really nice. So first, let's draw some structure here so we know kind of what we're looking at. So yeah, we had a clear consolidating triangle buildup here, which means the price is coiled, right? The price is coiled, but we've just recently, this morning, lost this. So we're now looking for a retest of this triangle, ideal case scenario. A retest of this triangle before we see the real sell-off, right? And the real sell-off hasn't really happened yet. This right here is just a sweep of these lows. This isn't a sell-off. One 4-hour candle is not a sell-off. It's just it's a forced sell-off. It's a, you know, people are not really selling. It's more the market makers pushing the price down. We can actually look at this on our open interest indicator. Will show you that really nicely. Let's see. Let's load it up right now. Yeah. So this has been a weak sell-off. See, so a bunch of OI came in here, a bunch of open interest came in, and that was just swept. Market makers pushed the price down. Right. It was a weak sell-off. Like usually when you see a real sell-off, you'll see like this blue here is a real sell-off. Then the price, you know, it sells off. There's some longs coming in, and then the real sell-off starts. Right? And here again, happened again here. It happened again here, real sell-off, but this was actually a sweep. So then longs came in, we got a fair value gap that needed to be closed, we kept going, and then obviously the price came back to this fair value gap, but then wasn't ultimately strong enough to pump up again, and we've just been kind of going sideways ever since. So now we've broken down here, but we haven't seen the real sell-off. So I'm expecting the real sell-off to come in the next few candles here, maybe in the next like 40 hours or so, where we will see somewhat of a dump, and I think we'll just go and target the 60K level here. That's just like, once we lost this triangle, we're basically, I mean, yeah, we're basically, this entire triangle is now resistance, right? So we should go test the 60 at least, sweep it, then see how the price corrects around here, if it actually holds 60 and kind of makes its way back up, or if we just keep going lower from there and then, yeah, fall to new lows, which in my opinion is the most likely currently. But yeah, we'll see what happens when we get there. Next, let's look at the momentum and the trend. So the momentum is interesting because it just kind of shows you like, you know, what are people thinking right now? What are they doing? And yeah, let it just load right now. Bring up the chart a bit. Okay, so yeah, we are in a clear bear trend, right? This is all higher time frames are aligned that this is a bear momentum. So we're definitely in the bear momentum. Yeah, you can see here we have a clear higher time frame bear. We have a clear strong bear confluence. So that's just your thesis, right? We cannot enter a short here because we just didn't get the signal, right? Because you would want to enter at these levels where you see short entry signals. But this just shows that we're in bearish momentum and that the next short signal should be coming up anytime now. Next, let's look at the trend. The trend is your friend, so you always want to trade in the trend. Yeah, and the more you follow the trend, the better your trading becomes. I mean, that's just something that I've learned over the years and that everyone has to go through. If you trade against the trend, constantly trying to call the top or the bottom, you just get wrecked every day. Right, so here, okay, all bear. We're in a 5-5 short bear, right? This is a short confluence. So everything is bearish. The whole trend is bearish. The momentum is bearish. There's liquidity that needs to get swept below. Like there's just no point this is going any further up in the short term, I think. So this should definitely yeah, fall down. Okay, and then we can just quickly look at the master confluence. The master confluence is really interesting because it just summarizes all of our indicators into one signal, right? And on a 4-4 short, this is a 100% confluence trade. So yeah, we got the last one here, we missed it. We did get a sell-off, so we're waiting for the next 4-4 short, right? So just stay tuned, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one, guys.